Yes, indeed. Conflict resolution is very important. And like in the video, if we was watching the video, it talked about what Lao Tzu was saying sometimes you need to avoid. Sometimes you don't have to prove that you are correct. You don't have to prove that your doctrine is the impregnable doctrine, and you're a non-believer, and you know what I'm saying. And that same non-believer person that you talked about, you may have a plumbing issue in your home, and this is how the universe works. The same person you were saying, ridiculing, talking about, end up being the person that the plumber send to your house, and you end up face to face. You need that person, but yet you got finished attacking that person. So again, yin yang are interactive. Every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. So in conflict resolution, the video was talking about avoiding issues. I mean, if that person want to be right, let him be right. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to prove nothing. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have to apologize. Being in law enforcement / security, even doing private security, especially when you're working in the public, sometimes you have to go ahead and be humble. Because when you're a person in authority and you have certain instruments that are life-changing, that can cause life or death, and you have a tool on your sidearm or wherever, and you have the power to use it, to whom much is given, much is required. Conflict resolution. What are conflict resolution skills? Think of these skills as a toolbox for managing disputes. They can help you approach conflicts with patience, logic, and reasoning to avoid confusion and negativity. Most people have the ability to learn conflict resolution skills with a focus on mutual respect and the goal of fostering peace. Conflict resolution habits can create healthy, communicative relationships that benefit everyone involved. Now, that's worldwide. But that hits home now with the situation that we're in the United States of America, within North America. Because there's only 3 Americas: North, Central, and South. So the president is the president of the United States of America, United States. Canada is part of North America. Not the president of America, the president of the United States of America. Hey. So conflict resolutions, why are conflict resolution skills important? Conflict is a part of life. It is a natural and oftentimes healthy occurrence brought by differences. You may experience conflict with friends, family, co-workers, and you might need to be able to diffuse the situation productively. Conflict resolution skills exist to help you do just that. Practicing open communication by utilizing active listening and patience can bring about peaceful resolutions that foster a safe work environment. I got to do that when I'm on post. When I'm on post, I got to do that. I may have a disgruntled, combative person. I got to find out what kind of way that I can neutralize that person or get that person to calm down. Sometimes taking that person to the side, is cool. It may be an ethnic issue. It may be an ethnic issue. It may be a cultural issue. You know what I mean? That person may have a cultural difference from you. And you'll never know. So it could be those things. So, yeah, I got a positive. This is a positive self-assessment. This is a burnout test. So here's a burnout test. I got a burnout test for y'all. Oh, yeah. Here you go, bro. This is the burnout test. And this is just a self-assessment, But again, with conflict resolution, we're going to bump into issues all our life. Compromise. How many of us don't like the compromise? A lot of us don't like the compromise. My way or the highway. Isn't that what we're facing right now in certain political arenas? My way or the highway. There is no compromising right now. People think that if you compromise, it's a form of weakness, but it's really not. If you look at the word calm, now we get into etymology. All right, I'm going a little bit. You get into the word calm. What does calm mean? Communicate. When they say DEFCON 3, you calm. Calm means communicate. If you just add another N, commute. Commute means what? Traveling, en route. So to compromise, you know what I'm saying, is to what? Communicate some form of promise. And what is a promise? A surety. To communicate to a person a level of assurity. To make people feel secure. It says if you find yourself at an impasse or a dead end during a discussion, try to come up with a compromise. Compromising is a way to take the feelings and opinions of others into account while coming up with a solution that benefits and accounts for all parties involved. So compromising is for the benefit of everybody. You know what I'm saying? You work with me, I work with you. You know what I'm saying? You work with me, I work with you. Managing your stress. It is very easy for a conflict to escalate if the involved parties are stressed. Remember, everyone has a unique point of view. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you cannot change other people's opinions or reactions. If you need to de-escalate a situation, all you can do is de-escalate your reaction and stay calm. Now this is heavy, okay? Because not everybody knows how to de-escalate. Not everybody knows how to communicate. Because when you de-escalate, you know what I'm saying? You bringing something down. You bringing something down when you de-escalate. So it is very easy for a conflict to escalate. If you're stressed out and they stressed out, it's on and popping. That's why when we saw the earlier videos, we were watching an earlier video about the yin and the yang and the balance, the Tai Chi symbol. And we were talking about the yin and yang. So when you're too much yin, there's an imbalance. Too much yang, there's an imbalance. You know what I'm saying? So let me go back real quick. So this is where we were. This is related to conflict resolution. Okay? This is related to conflict resolution. Too much yin, you want to be a martyrdom. Die with your boots on. You want to, I'm saying, I'm going to go out as a martyr. They're going to remember me. I'm going to go down with Patton and them. Eisenhower, daggone it. And marching them, depression, spacey, confused, stagnant, needy, and wallowing. That's when you have too much yin. It doesn't mean you're feminine. Yin is the feminine, yang is the masculine. It doesn't mean you're too feminine. We're talking about energies. We're not talking about the sexes. We're talking about the energy polarities in you. Like when they say bipolar, people talk about, I'm bipolar. Well, I'm bipolar too. America's bipolar right now. Bipolar means what? You have a higher self and you have a lower self. the top of your body, where they say heat rises. So in the wintertime, you cover your head and you cover your feet. You know what I'm saying? So your foot has a polarity and your head has a polarity. That's why in certain circles they tell you about grounding. So grounding is taking your shoes off and being barefoot on the earth, because the earth gives off what they call Schumann waves. These are energies that the earth, the soil gives up, and your feet takes up this energy into self. So when you're in excess of yin, depression, spacey, confused. When you're balanced, compassion, introspection. You flowing. Wisdom, intuition, patience, receptivity, creativity. That's when you're balanced in your yin. When you have insufficient yin, smothering, only outward, rigid, you're overthinking, you're nervous, frigid, cold, Well, this is what society wants us to be right now. Depressed, spacey, confused, stagnant. Overthinking, nervous, frigid, cold-hearted. They don't want us to be in balance of compassion, introspection, flowing. Because all those things promote healthy relationships. Didn't in the New Testament, the man they called Jesus, or Emmanuel, he said, love. Love ye one another as I have loved you. By this they will know that ye are my disciples, if you have love for self. Well, I know that there was a man named Noble Drew Ali, the prophet. He said, all Moors must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. Why? Because water is a conductor of electricity. So if you're thinking love and you're taking on healthy water, you know what I'm saying? You balance your feminine side. Masculine, dominant, too much excessive yang. Domination, aggression, controlling, rigid mental constructs, anxiety, forcing. This is where we are right now. This is where the United States of America is right now. This is where we at. Domination, aggressive, controlling, not compassionate, introspecting, flowing, promoting wisdom and intuition. No. So a balanced masculine energy is valor, assertion, having direction, methodic thought, taking into action, giving. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're insufficient of that yang energy, you're fearful, you're withdrawn, spineless. In Western, spineless, yellow. They always call you yellow in those Western movies, yellow. Spineless, hopeless, stagnant. Well, isn't that what society is right now? Excessive yin, depressed, spacey, confused, stagnant, needy. And then way over here, fearful, withdrawn, spineless, lost, hopeless, etc., etc. So this is where we are. They don't want that balance. And there's people that don't want to be balanced. There are people that like drama. They feed off of drama. They're like vampires. They feed off the drama. It's where people feed off of. All right, come on in. So it says, manage your stress. It is very easy for a conflict to escalate if the involved parties are stressed. If you're going through depression, you're being controlling, dominating. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm stressed out, you stressed out, we both in a relationship. It could be a relationship with your coworker. It could be a relationship with a family member. We both, somebody got to take a time out. Somebody got to walk away. Somebody got to walk away. Somebody got to be like, listen, got you. Yo, let's talk about this later. You know what I'm saying? Table the conversation. If you're having difficulty managing your emotions in the heat of the moment, it's okay to take space from a conflict at hand. Now, what if that conflict is life-threatening? And you may have to make a move. You know what I'm saying? You can't take a short break to help cool yourself off because it's on and popping. That person is not going to stop. They are imbalanced, out of control. What do? You know what I'm saying? You have to do what you have to do to neutralize that situation. You know what I'm saying? Conflict resolution. Conflict resolution is not always peaches and cream. It's not always, it's not always, pow! Conflict resolution. You know what I'm saying? You may have to go that route. You may have to go another route that means life-threatening, death-threatening. But you may have to do that if it's life-threatening to the point of your life being taken. And this is what we're taught in certain fields of employment. Is, even though a person may have a firearm, or you got to be more humble when you have a weapon. You got to be more humble. I don't get individuals bragging when they got a burner, and man, you better learn from the mafioso movies like Godfather and them. Nobody should know you even pack it. You should be so humble, man. They you look at some of those gangster movies, they're not aggressive. But you cross that path, it's on and popping. So it says, be patient. It's true what they say, patience is a virtue, but it's also a great tool for handling conflict. Keep discussions tempered. It's important to take a deep breath and try to understand other people's point of view. When you face conflict with an open mind, you position yourself to practice understanding and empathy with others. Patience is not a skill you can develop overnight, but it is significant. Give yourself time to take things slowly and really reflect and refocus your emotions. Be empathetic. Empathy is one of the most critical communication skills to develop because it allows you to truly understand the feelings of others. You must take the time to see their perspective and understanding, their goals, motivation, and pain points to develop effective solutions that meets everyone's needs. Self-reflect. When handling a conflict, one may open yourself up to other people's perspective. It is first, other people's perspectives is to first examine your own. Why are you feeling what you're feeling? What do you hope to gain? By asking yourself these questions and similar ones, you might start to see how your wants and needs align with those of others. How to improve your conflict resolution skills. Good, Doc.
No. I was going to ask, do you mind if I read this with you?
Okay, read it.
All right.
How to improve what?
How to improve your conflict resolution skills. The best way to improve your conflict resolution skills is to put them into practice. However, you can do plenty of things to enhance your skills when you're not experiencing conflict. Practicing in self-reflection are great for personal growth and the development of conflict resolution skills. If you want to improve your skills, you may consider journaling or meditating to practice perspective skills. Consider asking yourself the following questions.
Okay, now stop right there. So the best way to improve your conflict resolution skills is to put them into practice in the security field, law enforcement field, even working in a hospital. You are literally going to have to practice on a daily basis. Now, sometimes in the street, Pookie and Ray and Shaniqua and them, but in a hospital, public environment where it's not the patients, it's the workers that you literally have to practice with. It's those people that think that you having a uniform that you're supposed to do everything, even things that are outside of your job description. You want me to do what? No, that's not my job description. Then the person emails your supervisor with a nastogram that you didn't, and so then the flavor turns because they exaggerate a little bit about your refusal to do something. You know what I'm saying? So lots of times conflict resolution is, let me call my supervisor, and I did plenty of times. I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm ashamed of the devil, right? I'm ashamed of the devil, right? I'm in front of y'all. I'm confessing my sins. I acted like I was talking to my supervisor. I cannot touch this patient unless nursing staff says so. But this patient is not a psych patient. They have not been declared psych. If that patient wants to leave, I can't touch that patient. Why? Because one of the things that you learn in law is constitutional rights. So you can't get up into a profession and you don't know that daggone constitution. So that person has freedom of what? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So if it makes them happy to leave, even though they told them they sick and they want to fill out a form, against medical authority, or advice, fill that form out and escort them out the door. But plenty of times, I act like I was on the phone to avoid the conflict. Oh yeah, my supervisor said I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So again, there are ways, and we gotta, even in our daily life, questions. How do I react to conflict? Why do I react this way? How do I react to conflict? And why do I react this way? Lots of times it's your upbringing, childhood upbringing, personal past experiences, why you may react a certain way to conflicts. You know what I'm saying? Somebody living out in the suburbs where there's grass and trees and willows and woodpeckers, and squirrels and, possum, deer roaming around is different from somebody whose ambulance, fire department, all kinds of sirens passing down your street, blue light location, you know what I'm saying? Folks walking up and down, sick and suffering addicts, yes, sir.
Want to interject, I understand and can appreciate both perspectives. But me personally, I've lived in both atmospheres, and it's a stereotypical algorithm because you haven't lived in that atmosphere to see what really goes on in the atmosphere to gauge your perspective. So it's a perception type of thing. Just to me, this is my opinion.
And see, from your perspective, that's why you may act a certain way to a conflict, having experience living out where there's peace and living in a war zone. So you may have a different.
Oh, it's still a war zone. It's just a different type.
It's a different type. But you may have a different reaction to conflict than a person who really grew up in a household where they was yelling and screaming and they came outside and it was yelling and screaming. Depending on your upbringing, your mindset. So how do I convey my feelings? What steps can I take to improve my communication? All of this depends on your mindset and you. Why am I upset? What do I need to resolve this conflict? Practicing self-reflection. Remember, we saw the video of Lao Tzu, who was a contemporary of Confucius. And, in Buddhism, they talk mindfulness. And certain circles, they say meditate on the Lord. But it's still mindfulness. To practice self-reflection is an effective tool that allows you better understanding other feelings and opinions, how to use your conflict resolution skills in the workplace. Here's a conflict. Here's a conflict. An employee approaches you, their manager, complaining that another employee is being too loud and disruptive while doing their work. They tell you they cannot focus and expect you to do something to resolve this issue. What do? Go ahead. An employee approaches you, their manager, complaining that another employee is being too loud and disruptive while doing their work. They tell you they cannot focus and expect you to do something to resolve the issue. You're the manager.
Right.
An employee's coming to you. You're in the seat of authority. You're a super duper supervisor. Someone's coming to you and saying, listen, I can't focus. How can you resolve that conflict? Go ahead.
You can separate the people.
Separate the two.
You can pull them to the side and talk to them.
Talk to them together or one by one?
On a one-on-one.
Talk to them one-on-one. Okay.
Just try to de-escalate it. Just
Okay.
try to make it better.
Okay, go ahead, Queen.
I would have both of them come to a meeting on a Saturday and ask each one of them how can we come to a decision where both parties will be able to.
So bringing them both together
Yes,
and then having them come with ideas of how they can resolve their own issue.
that, and then we put them all on the table and then we see which one fits the seven.
Got you. So bringing them together and each one of them coming with ideas,
Yes,
laying the ideas down,
yes,
and then deciphering which ones will be best to resolve the conflict so nobody, it's a win-win.
correct.
Okay. Come on, brother. Man, come on, Derek.
Can I say something?
Oh, man.
Can I say something? I had a situation like that in my drawer. We was in training and they was the lady came to the supervisor and told her that she couldn't focus because the other lady was kept disturbing her. So as a result of that, she said, "Come on, y'all, come on, ladies, you gotta get it together. We can't be carrying it like that." That was her way of dealing with it.
Okay, so she came together with them.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I tend to want to agree. I tend to want to agree with both parties, coming together, and also the 101 thing is important too. So I like that 101 thing, but it all depends because. Hold on. It all depends because what if the manager's arrogant? What if the manager, has that chip on their shoulder? What if, how they say, out of chaos comes order? What if that manager allows that chaos to persist in order to keep them in power? That sound like
Something gonna get resolved.
North America somewhere around below Canada and above Mexico. Okay, sound like that? Keep the chaos going. Stay in power. If there's peace, that's going to be a problem. Solution: express your understanding of that employee's issue and let them know their side of the story has been heard. Then speak to the other employee involved, asking them about the situation. Politely and calmly explain that others have complained about disruptions in the workplace environment. Kindly ask them to conduct their work in a less disruptive manner. If it continues to be an issue, you'll have to take further action, which could involve memos or even human resources. So it says express your understanding, right? Then speak to the other employee. It says politely and calmly. Then it says kindly ask. But what you dealing with a ghetto fabulous person? What if you dealing with somebody ghetto fabulous? Go ahead, Amun.
Here's what I say. Human resources is always an option, but if you feel like you're not being heard by your direct authority, it might be an EEO issue too as well. Like they're not giving you a fair opportunity to conduct yourself on being sort of public or productive. So if you feel like that, it might be an EEO case. Because if stuff is happening and you can't really conduct your work in a peaceful manner, it might be an EEO situation as well. Or that manager has a boss or an authoritative figure, you might have to go over their head.
So what
document everything.
What about if you're an employee, if you're a manager, and you have a relationship with, not a relationship, intimacy, what if you've been on the job with this person or this co-worker is so cool with you as a manager and cool with you, and y'all go out, y'all hang out in the after hour pubs and happy hour, and you got this relationship with this co-worker, and you already know this co-worker can be a little ignorant, you know what I'm saying? But the other employee, you don't have that relationship. But the one you're close to, been at your house for Thanksgiving, you know what I'm saying? Got you that fake Christmas tree, the one with the bent, falling off, and the angel hair, help you decorate it old school and all that. You know what I'm saying? Help you go ahead and paint some Easter eggs and stuff for your children. Okay, that employee that you real close with, but that employee is loud, obnoxious. How would you handle that?
Well, if you're an effective leader, you have to put yourself in the other person's place. Well, that's a conversation because all jobs have rules and regulations. So you just can't tell somebody that they can't not be combative